Shama Hyder, Chief Executive of Zen Media. Shama, do tell, Quest Pro, is it worth all that money, nearly $1,500?
Oh my goodness. I guess it really depends on who you ask. So if you are an enthusiast, then I believe that, you might enjoy the upgraded graphics, you might enjoy the 2.0, if you will. But if you ask a regular consumer, or as they're hoping, that this really appeals to the business user, I think it's going to fall flat, to be very honest. I do believe that sales of this device are going to be more disappointing than Meta had probably hoped.
But is Meta concerned about this? Is it more about them being more pioneering, more innovative, and dare I say, first in this area in terms of new changes to these VR headsets? So therefore, they're willing to take a loss in order to be ahead of the game?
Perhaps, but it depends on how much of a loss are they actually willing to take. Because if you look at rumors and media that's been flying about, you see that even internally, Meta has had a lot of disagreements and folks really not on board with the product itself. I mean, I think what you see is Meta really trying to stay relevant, right? In many ways, it feels a little like MySpace with what Meta is trying to do now, meaning it is ahead of its time. Is AR and are these virtual realms going to be a part of our future lives? Sure. Is that going to be in the near future? I think that's very doubtful.
I mean, for some, it already is a big part of their world. I mean, I know plenty of young boys, because I've got three. We don't have a VR headset at home, but I know plenty of their friends who do, and they thoroughly enjoy it. And this is what Meta is trying to really rebrand itself into, isn't it? The metaverse, where we're all avatars, this sort of surreal world beyond our reality.
Gaming is nothing new. And I mean, as you're, a mom of three boys can understand that they enjoy the games. You've got Fortnite. And so the question is, does this really up the experience to an entire different level? And who they're really aiming this at, which is enterprise companies and business users. I mean, do you really care to take a meeting with a headset on where the battery's dying? I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done. So do I think it's going to be at some point in our future much more of an immersive experience? Absolutely. I think if you look at machine learning, it's way ahead than VR. So I think it's very interesting, but it feels a little bit like, the house is on fire and they're trying to put Christmas lights out. And so we think a lot of people feel that way.
In terms of Facebook, I mean, I say Facebook, Meta, it changed its name and it is trying to rebrand itself and move on from some of the poor headlines and the rap it's had in terms of what happens to our data, et cetera, et cetera. Where is Meta now standing in the kind of brand, strength of brand and people's trust?
Well, I think the short answer is poorly. I think it's standing very poorly. I think they've done a very poor job of media relations, of building trust. You see that not just in the US, but globally. The news that keeps coming out, I think they have a lot of internal leaks. I believe a lot of this does stem from they have many internal unhappy employees who are not fully on board with the vision. Some may not understand it, others may understand it, and may just not feel like that's a good direction for the company. So, it very much is a challenging time right now for Meta, and they just keep doubling down on something that doesn't seem like it really has a lot of demand right now.
Okay, well, Shama, it's interesting to get your view on that. Shama Hyder, thank you so much, Chief Executive of Zen Media.